Hello everyone, I have another 10 cards to share today with the one kit, the Spellbinders November 2021 card kit of the month, Joyful Christmas. So going in card 1, I'm showing you how I did the background paper on this because it's important to my design that it was in the center. So first I had to find the center of the pattern paper and the center of the cardstock and cut off these edges. And then I'm going to use this tree patterned paper and put that again in the center, just so those lines, that's how you get that look. If you were just cut off the edges to the dimensions of the card, you wouldn't get the same look there. So then I have these die cut pieces, and I'm going to use the stamp set. It says Peace and Joy, and I am going to emboss that in gold onto this white cardstock that I'm going to have in the center of the card. And go ahead and glue that down. And here's a tree and some gifts that are the die cut from the die cut pack, and then one of those dimensional stickers that's got mounting tape on it. And it's a little bit of a thicker material, not really chipboard, but thicker than the die cut cardstock. So I'm gonna just place those down in the bottom for my first card here. I went ahead and purchased this kit. It was late and you had to go on the website. You have to go on the website and buy it, but I still got my card subscription discount. So make sure you sign in if you're a subscriber to their card club, because yeah, it's a lot less expensive for the card kit of the month. But I really liked the colors in the kit, and I liked the die cuts, and I thought I could do something with it. So I hope it's useful to people. I know that not everyone's going to get this kit, but I really enjoyed creating with it. So for card number 2, I really loved the dove pattern paper, and I am going to use that. And then I have these 2 die cuts that came in the pack. It says Oh Holy Night with a wreath. That's going right in the center. And I have a piece of the dark green cardstock that is kind of framing out that black starry paper. And here's my dove. I kind of made it fly in. Silly me, but yes. And that is card number 2. Oh, and the dove is up on mounting squares. So for card number 3, I used the lighter pink cardstock on the card base, and this lovely light toned mistletoe pattern paper. Now I cut out all this part earlier, but that's directional paper there. I think I put it down upside down at least once. So then I'm going to use the dies and cut out 2 of these branches and this die cut bow. And it's funny because I just bought a die of a pine branch. However, the one I just bought is longer. But yeah, I was just making Christmas cards with this similar die. And so I really, when I saw that they had that die, I thought I could use it over and over. I really like it. It's a little bit small, but it's a great accent. And so it's going to be great to have in my collection, especially with the other branches that I just bought. So I'm going to bring in, to finish off this card, 3 of the stickers from the mounted sticker pack with the mounting squares on the back. And for a little pizzazz, I'm pulling in some gold thread from my stash. Now, if you didn't have a gold string or any kind of string you wanted to hang your ornaments with, you could just do a line of gold marker. You could do a tiny strip of the gold cardstock, but yeah, I had this twined in my stash, and boy was it finicky getting it on there, but the acrylic block helped me to do that. So to finish off the card, I'm just going to pull one of these cute puffy stickers, Jolly and Joyful, and I guess, yep, I'm going to pull out these other epoxy stickers as well. I didn't use them for many things, but they made a nice accent here on this card with the little pine branch one, and I think a star, and what's the other one? I'm not even sure. Another star, just a different shape of star. So for card number 4, I'm using the dark green cardstock and then this tan colored background with dots. But another die cut that I really loved was the fox. I do love foxes, and I love this art style, or the illustration style of this fox that is rendered. So yeah, I had to make a card with him, and that's what this card is all about. Pulling the dies out again, another really useful die that I didn't really have another one of in my stash was this holly one, and then I used this branch one. I think we've got similar dies before in the past of this kind of berry branch one, but I don't think I've ever got one of these holly ones. So I put together that with the dark green cardstock, and then I'm going to tuck the 2 holly leaves behind the fox. He's just kind of holding the place right now because he's up on mounting squares and I haven't put him down yet. And then for this branch with berries, there was not a tan colored cardstock in the kit, but I have some in my stash, and I kind of wanted the branch to be brown. I don't know. So pulling this pattern paper out, this was great. I used some circle punches, and I circle punched out the Mary, and then that plaid, and then a gold circle. I did find that for making my cards with only using the kit, I felt like there weren't enough sentiments. There were those puffy stickers, which there were a ton of those, but then if you didn't want to go with that style on the card for the sentiment, I don't know. I guess there were a couple in the stamp set too, but yeah, I felt like, well, that might be lacking slightly. But then I was able to use this pattern paper to make a sentiment, and I like how it turned out. So, and that circle punch was the perfect size. I don't remember what it is, but you can ask me in the comments. I can measure it and let you know if you'd like to know what the size was. So for card 5, we're going to pull out the rest of that plaid pattern paper there, and then a scrap of the tree. And for this card, I have a very scant, like 1/8 of an inch, just a tiny little white border. That's intentional. I wanted a little bit of white, but I didn't want as much. I don't know, for some reason. And then the gold, I'm going to add a little strip here, and that's going to go all the way up to the top, and I'll just trim off the excess. So my tree pattern paper is a little bit smaller, but then the gold covers the entire card. And then I have mounted a white cardstock onto the gold and embossed again in gold that peace and joy sentiment. I really liked that sentiment, so I used that a couple times. And then I have a variety of die cuts here. There's this tree with baubles on it, and there's a trio of packages, gift packages, and then I'm using 2 more of those dimensional stickers that have the mounting square on them. So I'm just going to layer these up. The first one to go down will be that cute little tree, and then the trio of packages, gifts, and place that down below the tree. And then I'm just going to add dimension and interest with these 2 not chippy, I was going to say chipboard, but they're a little bit thinner than chipboard. These 2 gift packages that have the mounting tape on them. And I really like how that looks. A nice little vignette down there. And it's got variety of dimension. So for card number 6, again, I'm using the cardstock, and I like leaving that 1/4 inch white border, so I'm using the red cardstock, and then I have this pattern paper. It's very interesting. I wouldn't know what to call it. It almost looks like, you know what? It reminds me of a birch bark, but it does have a hint of pink in it as well. So that's going to be the top part, and then the black cardstock will be the bottom part, and then I'm going to use I think that's either 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch, probably 1/2 inch, strip of gold there to differentiate the two. And then I have some red cardstock mounted onto a strip of gold that's going to hold my sentiment, which is from the puffy sticker set. And with this gold horizontal line, I'm kind of mimicking a mantle place, like a fireplace, where you would hang these stockings. So I have the die cut one from the die cut pack that's going in the center, and then the 2 sticker ones from the sticker pack. And that's why, the black, it's kind of maybe shadow. I didn't really have brick or anything to really make a mantle out of it, but I liked how those went together, the pattern papers. And then this was the whole reason behind the card, this cute little owl. I just had to make a card with him, and so I started with the owl, and everything else kind of came around it. And he's really cute. He's into mischief in the stocking, but yeah. Card number 7 uses this diagonal pink stripe pattern paper, and then this soft poinsettia pattern paper. And then also the music score pattern paper was kind of a gray background. I cut a circle out of that, and I'm going to place it down in the bottom corner of the poinsettia paper overhanging, because I want to trim off the excess. I don't know, I liked how that looked. And I first put my poinsettia paper right down onto the stripes, and then I was like, oh no, how am I going to trim off my circle? So yeah, it's looking a little rough on the back, but I did manage to pull it up. Man, so often I have to pull things up, but there you go. This was the look I wanted, and I think it was worth it. And then I have the die cut of the holly and the ballerina. And the ballerina is going to go in the center of that music circle. I was thinking Nutcracker here, you know, ballerina and music, and yeah. And so then I'm going to put the holly up towards the top, and again, one of the lovely little puffy stickers for a sentiment. And I like how that turned out. And, you know, this could be all occasion card. Really, it could be a few different uses, but yeah, the So Wonderful is the sentiment there. Again, some Nutcracker themed paper here. And then I have a gold strip and that kind of fawn colored with polka dots. It reminds me of a fawn, a baby deer, but it isn't a deer pattern. It's more of a snowy kind of polka dot. Anyway, I'm going to place that in the left side there. Don't want to cover up too much of the Nutcracker pattern paper because it's pretty interesting, but it is busy. So here we're going to pull out the stamp set, and there's this jar, and I never did look up what to call it. It's, I don't know, glass jar. Anyway, going to use a couple Christmas trees. I stamped out the jar, and then I fussy cut it out. I'm still trying to think of what it's called, sorry. Anyway, I'm going to place that in the center just as a background for this cute epoxy sticker. And it fits perfectly in the little display jar. Let's just call it that for something to call it. And then I'm going to use the trees as an accent here on the side. And I have the other bow there. I'm going to place down the bottom. As well as upside down, you can see one of those stars. I'll grab that in a minute. And then I took the stamp set for the sentiment, Shine. Here's a little star. It's kind of an interesting shape. And I'm just going to add it as an accent towards the top of my little trinket jar. Display jar. See, I'm calling it all kinds of things. Anyway, I stamped out Shine and embossed it in gold onto the white cardstock, and then fussy cut it out, and then I popped it up for sentiment here. So for card number 9, again, I have the kind of black starry background paper, and I'm going to use the stamp set again with the little church, the tree, and the dove. I have this curvy die that I cut out a snow slope with, and this one you see here on screen is masking paper, because I'm going to create a scene here. So first I'm stamping down the tree, and then I have to make masks for the church and the tree, and multiple masks for the tree, and I just stamp it down a few times, and I'm covering it up and stamping it again, and I don't show that whole process. And then I color it with alcohol markers, the trees that is, because I'm gonna ink blend the sky in a bit. And you know, this is mostly successful this way that I went about it, so you'll see my mistake later on, but yeah, the church I just colored in 2 different gray alcohol markers. So then I'm going to cover that up. You can see my ugly little masks. What I should have done is really spend a little more time masking the trees. I did a great job with the church, but you'll see I didn't really cover the trees enough. Yeah, you'll see here momentarily. Anyway, I'm using these 2 oxide inks, Prize Ribbon and Black Soot, just to get a nice kind of dark bluish sky, winter sky. That's what I'm going for here. I threw some water on, it didn't do much, but then I pulled out some gouache and watered it down and splattered the heck out of this thing, and it dries lighter. You know, maybe if I wanted the stars darker, I should have used acrylic, but here we're going to go for the reveal here. And there's my problem. Yep, I didn't cover my tree well enough, so there's a big white gap. So I'm using the brushes to try to cover that up a bit. I think I might go in with the alcohol marker and just extend the tree a little bit, but I didn't do that for this video. Then I had used that line again, cut out white cardstock for my snowy slope, and that's just down flat, but you can see my panel is up on fun foam. So I glue that down and then I trim it off. That was easier than trying to line it up perfectly, so there's trimming off the excess there. Anyway, so if you try the scene one, just, yeah, do a better job with the trees than I did, but it's handmade, so it's got some charm there. And we'll see if I can improve it some later. So that's going down, and it's on the fun foam, so it has a little bit of dimension, but everything else is flat. Then I pull out the stamp set again. You remember the dove? Yeah, I stamped him out in the prize ribbon. I thought it would go well since it was one of my ink blending inks. And I just embossed him in clear embossing powder because the oxide ink, stays wet a little longer. Now I'm going to put the foam tape on the dove so it can stick out here in the sky. And again, for the sentiment, these little stickers, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to put down there. And I go with the season's greetings. And it's nice. The black and white goes nicely together. And that's the final card there. So for card number 10 is another complicated one, but I went with a shaker card. Here is how I made my shaker. I stamped out that trinket jar, or that display jar again, and used my X-Acto knife to cut it out the window. And then I am using the double stick tape to put it onto the packaging for the, for the window there. And then some thin mounting tape go around the jar opening. And then I put some more around to balance it out. And just a little swipe of anti-static powder. This is going to be my background, this subtle starry one. And I'm going to use this adorable owl epoxy sticker there in the center. And then I grabbed some sequins, and these are the ones that came in the kit. And then the gold were from a previous Spellbinders Christmassy kit that I just pulled out of a drawer to add in there because I liked having some gold in there. So those didn't come in the kit, the gold ones. But trimming off the excess, and I'm going to just stick that little shaker element right in the top center-ish of the card. And that's kind of the main focal point, but it's a little stark on the edges. I did try to put the gold die cut, the swirly die cut. It didn't fit it right, so I'm just gonna make a little interesting part here at the bottom with these two candy cane die cuts, and I glue them together. And then because that shaker element is popped off the card, I have to add some mounting tape, but just not where the candy cane overlaps onto the element there. So stick that down there, and then I have a couple branch die cuts from the die cut pack. Love how these have just a little bit of gold accent. It really makes it easier to make everything go together. And so I'm going to place those down here. And that one, the gray and gold one, is sticking enough onto the shaker element that I didn't need to add the mounting tape, but then I added the tape to the green branch. And what am I doing here? Oh yeah, that's right. I pulled out the sequins again because I wanted to add them so they kind of look like berries on this. So yeah, I had 3 of them right here, and man, those were hard for me to pick up, but I finally got them after throwing them all over my desk for a while. They really stuck to my fingers, a lot of static. And then a sentiment with the puffy stickers. I liked the Merry and Bright. And yeah, my favorite part was just that cute owl on the epoxy sticker. And that's it. I will bring all 10 cards back in briefly here and let you just see them all together. I hope you really enjoyed seeing what I did with this kit, and let me know which ones are your favorites in the comments. Did you get the kit? Did you decide not to? It's too late in the month. I thought I just barely had enough time, and I would go for it because I really liked the dies and I liked the pattern papers. They do such a great job with the illustration, the graphics. So yeah, it was fun. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day. Bye.